If you're over 60 and feel like it's too late to start something new, or maybe you have been thinking about starting an online business, but something keeps holding you back, this video will change how you see yourself starting today. Because the real problem is not your age. It's the story you have been telling yourself. And today we will change that story. Listen here, because what we will talk about today has the power to change completely your life after 60. At the end of the video, you will get a clear roadmap to help you turn your dreams into reality and live purposefully your entire life. If you're new here, I'm Jan. I'm 74 years old and I help people over 60 reinvent themselves, find purpose after retirement, and even start an online business from scratch. And today I will show you 3 simple steps to rewrite your story and start building a new life after 60. Let me ask you something. What if everything you believe about yourself isn't actually true? We all have a lot of thoughts and dreams going around in our heads. All these thoughts are tied up in a sort of story about yourself, because whatever you believe, you act on. And whatever you act on becomes your reality. Does that sound familiar? Unconsciously, that story will determine the trajectory of your life. And that story is quietly controlling your life. That story tells you about your identity. And I'm going to tell you what's wrong with your current story and how to rewrite it. I will also tell you what the missing piece is. What we believe is true about ourselves is a self-created prognostication. When we believe that we act in a certain way, our actions will be accordingly. So if you believe that you are not worthy, not skillful enough, or whatever negative thought it can be, all you do will go into that direction, to just confirm that you are not worthy or skillful. Let's look at an example to understand how it works in reality. Person A has a positive belief, like I can handle these digital features as good as my grandkids. I have a life story worth sharing with other people, and that gives some helpful advice about what to do and not to do. My unique experience, skills and knowledge have to be packaged in a kind of online business setup. And why not earn money? By providing my unique asset in an organized format. This person does not hesitate to open the computer and get right into it. He or she writes down all his or her skills and experience worth sharing with others. And even if he has never been close to an online business, the motivation is high to search for a system and platform to make it happen. The desire to learn new things around it is high. This person says, I can still learn, my experience matters, I can start something new. So he explores, he learns, and he grows. Person B, however, is the one who accepts upfront that this new modern digital world is nothing for her or him, and at the very beginning refuses to even take a look. He doesn't see or experience skills or knowledge that is worth sharing with others. And starting something like an online business is just out of question. The lack of confidence will lock him out of any possible way to even give a try. All this then leads to a negative experience and robs them of the opportunity to grow. This second person says, this isn't for me, I'm too old, technology is too complicated, so he never even tries. And that belief calms his life. The question is then how to change this behavior. Through this cycle of belief and behavior, the initial expectation of the person, whether it's positive or negative, then to be released. Hence, it has been created as a self-fulfilling statement. The good news is that all those beliefs can be changed, helping you feel confident that transformation is possible. I want to help you identify your beliefs about the identity that is holding you back right now. We're going to figure it out together, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to change those beliefs and that story. Let's start by imagining a common story that someone might be telling himself. We can call this person Steve. Steve is 65 years old. For as long as he can remember, he has always believed that he is not very creative. That story started when he was a kid. At school, when they were asked to write an essay about what happened during the summer break, he always got a very low qualification score, with the argument by the teacher that he was lacking imagination and creativity. That labeling by the teacher followed him during his entire life. What consequences did this lead to? Whenever his friends in school suggested some creative activity like signing up for a training to learn a new instrument or go into painting classes, Steve immediately came up with his pre-made excuse. That's not for me. I'm not that type of creative person. Of course he was jealous, seeing his friends picking up a new hobby that often turned into passion. But he always reminded himself that is not just the way he is, because he strongly believed the story about himself, constructed earlier in his life. This self-created story about himself followed him throughout his entire life. He never got any jobs where creativity was a core skill required. It became a lifelong loop where his brain constantly reminded him of his lack of certain skills. And he carried that story for decades. So every time an opportunity showed up, he would say, that's not for me. Not because it was true, but because he believed it was. So how do you change your pre-created story? How do you erase this story from your brain? Without brain surgery. Let's rewrite Steve's story. The first step is to challenge his belief. He needs to question the evidence. Is it really true that he's lacking creativity and imagination? What if all this is much more than learning how to play an instrument, painting, or writing engaging essays about his summer holiday? His new story might be a simple action, like searching for a free course online to learn everything about the digital world. Not to become a master, but just to break the barrier that holds him back the entire life and find out that it's actually quite easy to understand all this stuff. And the most important, Steve will then start expressing himself in a different way. Instead of saying, I'm not creative, he said, I'm learning something new. Just that small shift changed everything. Instead of blocking himself, his expressions will be something like, actually, I'm a person who is capable of this. He will still have moments of doubt from his old identity, but he's now mindful of it and captures himself and takes action, even if very small, simple, tiny steps to start gathering new evidence about learning. Each more step is a new sentence in his life. He went online, started learning simple digital skills, not to be perfect, but to prove to himself, I can do this. And step by step, his confidence grew. What's next now when breaking the ice? Steve has now found that the digital world is for everyone, no matter your age. By erasing that story from childhood, that you can't do this, to you can, it becomes a complete game changer. He realized his experience as an accountant has a lot of value. People were searching for it. And for the first time he asked, what if I could turn this into something? How can he now use his experience and knowledge when retiring? After research on the internet, he found that many people were searching for exactly this knowledge and experience. What if it could be turned into a business? With his new rewritten self-story, a lot of ideas started popping up in his mind. What if I can make a business of it? Today, Steve runs an online business. He helps others. He shares his knowledge and he earns income doing it. All because he changed his story. Now let's make this practical. Here are 3 simple steps to reinvent yourself after 60. With Steve's story, you can notice that I mentioned a couple of the thoughts and the things he had been saying in his head, like, I'm not a creative person, I'm not like that. This is Steve's inner voice. And step one is listen to your inner voice. What do you say to yourself when things don't go your way? You have to recognize that your inner voice is telling you the story of your life. That voice is shaping your future. You're in charge, my friend. You have got this. You can rewrite and tell your own story from a new angle. And that is exactly what I want to help you with now. Step 2. Look at what you avoid. What activities, opportunities or conversations do you regularly avoid? Because avoidance often reveals fear. If you, for example, have always had this dream of starting your own business, but you are not taking the steps to do it, ask yourself, are you telling yourself a certain story? Are you telling yourself that it just wouldn't work out for someone like you? Are you telling yourself that you are not smart enough to do something like that? So what are you trying to escape from? That can be a really great way to access and find your limiting beliefs. Before going into step number 3, be brutally honest with yourself. Are these limiting beliefs really true or just a remnant of your self-story? Step 3, rewrite your I am statement. Instead of I'm bad with technology, say I'm learning step by step. Make your personal avatar. Now, here's the key. You don't just think your way into a new life. You act your way into it. These are the really powerful parts of your story. What do you say when you describe yourself to others or even to yourself? Do you say, I'm just a retired accountant, or whatever your profession is, I'm bad with technology, or I'm not an entrepreneurial person? When you find these statements, you face the core of your current story. So now we have located our current story, and it is really great to find it and rewrite it. But how do you actually believe that your new story that you are going to tell yourself is true? And how do you make it a part of your new identity? Listen carefully. Your personal avatar. This is the missing piece. Your personal avatar is the process of actually living as the person you want to become. It's about moving a belief to just being in your mind, to actually being in your daily actions, making it an active part of your life. We'll talk about exactly how to do that in just a moment, but for now, just know that you can't just speak this new identity into existence. The real transformation happens when you act on it. Think of it this way. Your old story is a well-roaded path. You have been walking for years. Your new story is a brand new trail. To make it a really distinct path, you have to walk it, and walk it repeatedly until you feel comfortable on this new and beautiful path. And then this becomes your new default trail, and that's your new identity. In the beginning, it takes some time to convince yourself, as we as humans are accustomed to old routines, no matter if they haven't been very efficient. The good news is that your brain is programmed for these types of changes. You are not stuck with these beliefs you have about yourself. By consistently choosing your new story and focusing on new positive thoughts and habits, you create and strengthen new neural pathways in your brain that will eventually be the dominant paths. So how do you embody this new identity? Start small, take one step, then another, and slowly you become that new person. If you're trying to improve your confidence with technology, whenever you face something you don't know how to handle, challenge it and search on the internet for an answer. Now with AI available everywhere, you can even start a conversation with AI. And finally, get the response you're looking for. You will quickly find that this is no rocket science and you can do it. If starting an online business is on your mind, open your computer and search for the answer. By the way, I will make it easy for you, and I have left a link in the description below to save you some time. It's a platform I found over a decade ago when being in the same situation where you probably find yourself right now. In this new identity is someone that you truly would like to become. Like you really want to be this new identity, it will be so much easier for you to act on it when you are just starting out. You're really trying to change that limiting belief about yourself at the beginning. It can be difficult if you really don't have this clear vision of this new identity that you want to be. So be clear about what this person is that you are trying to become. This is who this person is, living your dream life. Really think about that and then act as if you already were that person. When you come across challenges, which you will do, act as if you were that person in your everyday life. And slowly, little by little, after each action, you will start to become that person and you will start to believe that you are capable. You just have to gather little bits of evidence for your story. And the more evidence you get, the more you will believe that you are capable. When I was trying to become an online entrepreneur and run into issues that were pure Chinese for me, I asked myself, what would my new self-story tell me? I stopped doubting and reached out to a coach on the platform I had signed up to. In minutes, the problem was solved. That is how I really wanted to become. And when I think about this identity and this person I became, I take action according to the person I am now. This is how you embody your new identity. But can you solve everything? With the new identity, you will notice something amazing. Practically all types of problems or roadblocks have solutions. It can be technical issues, financial, whatever you want. Let me quote something wise Steve Jobs once said. When you define the problem correctly, you almost have the solution. In your whole story of yourself, every problem raised an immediate barrier, and you locked yourself out of even trying. With your new identity, you search for ways to find a solution. So, what's the first step you should take today? If you're starting to feel this shift, I have created a free guide for you, My New Self Story. You will find the link below to the PDF file, a clear step-by-step guide to finding those limiting beliefs, mastering your mindset, and really embodying this new identity that you're becoming. To then go ahead and build lasting habits. If you belong to the same age group as I do, remember, you are not too old. You're just getting started. Tell me in the comments what's one belief you're ready to change today. And watch this next video on how to start your online business after 60. All the best, my friend, and I will see you there.